Hello everyone, my name is Hana Alfani. Today, I would like to talk about pile foundation. Before we talk about pile foundation, what is foundation? Foundation is the lowest part of building that continues the load of the building on the top layer of soil or rock under it. The foundation classification is divided into two, that is, 1. Shallow foundation. Shallow foundation is a foundation that supports the load theoretically, such as local foundation, continuously foundation, and mat foundation. 2. Deep foundation. Deep foundation is a foundation that transmits the load of the building to hard ground or rock that is located far from the surface, such as pier foundation and pile foundation. Pile foundation. Pile foundations are used when the foundation soil at a normal depth can support the load, and the hard soil lies at a very deep depth. Piles are part of a foundation construction made of wood, concrete, and steel in a slender shape that is embedded into the ground at a certain depth, which function to transmit the load from the upper structure through the soft soil to the hard soil layer. In general, piles are placed perpendicular to the ground, but if needs to be able to withstand horizontal forces, the pile will be stacked at an angle. The angle of inclination achieved by the pile depends on the piling tool used and is adjusted according to the plan. The strength of the pile foundation is determined by the bearing capacity of a pile, where the bearing capacity is determined by the reaction of the soil in supporting the pile that is loaded and on the strength of the pile itself in holding and distributing the load on it. Pile foundations can be classified based on the use of materials and the way the piles carry the load. 1. Foundation piles according to material usage. A. Timber piles. Timber piles are made from the trunk of trees, whose branches have been carefully cut, are usually treated with a preservative and pushed with their small ends as the sharp edges. Sometimes, the point end was provided with a metal stocking shoe when the stake had to penetrate hard earth or gravel soil. Timber poles will be durable and not easily rot if the timber poles are always fully submerged under the groundwater level. Timber piles will be break or rot faster when they are dry and wet with cheap chaining. The use of timber piles is usually not permitted to hold loads greater than 25 to 30 tons per pile. B. Concrete piles. 1. Precast reinforced concrete pile. Precast reinforced concrete pile is a pile of reinforced concrete that is molded and cast in the concrete reference. Then once it is strong enough, then it lifts and fixed. Since the tensile stress of concrete is small and is practically considered to be zero, while the own weight of the concrete is large, then this concrete pile must be given reinforcement that is strong enough to withstand the bending moments that will arise at the time of lifting and erection. Because the weight itself is large, usually these concrete piles are molded and cast at the job site, so they don't bring difficulties for transport. This pile can carry large load more than 50 tons for each pile. It depends on the dimension. 2. Precast pre-stressed concrete pile. Precast pre-stressed concrete pile is a pre-stressed concrete pile using reinforcing steel and wire cables as the pre-stressed force. 3. Cast-in-place pile. This type of pile foundation is a foundation that is molded in place by making a hole in the ground first by drilling the soil, as in soil drilling during soil investigation. In cast-in-place, this can be done in two ways. 1. with a steel pipe that is driven into the ground, then filled with concrete and pounded while the pipe is pulled up. 2. With a steel pipe is thrown into the ground, then filled with concrete while the pipe remains in the ground. C. Steel piles. This type of steel pile is usually in the form of an edge profile because it is made of steel. The strength of this pile is very large, so that in transport and erection, it does not cause the danger of fracture as in precast concrete piles. So, the use of pile is very useful if long piles with large and resistance are needed. 2. Pile foundation based on the way the load is received by the pile into the ground. A. Enduring pile. This pile will pass the load through the pile and resistant to the supporting soil layer. B. Friction pile. This type of pile will pass the load to the ground through the friction between the pile and the ground around it. If the soil grain is very fine, it does not cause the soil between the poles to become solid, whereas if the soil is coarse, the soil between the poles will become denser. C. Adhesive pile. If the pile is attached to the foundation soil, which has a high cohesion value, the load received by the pile will be held back by the attachment between the surrounding soil and the pile surface.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching and see you!